ladies and gentlemen. Now, in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the full abilities and synergies for the brand new October champion, Red Goblin. And if you've never heard of this character before, he's basically Green Goblin that's been infused with a Carnage symbiote. So it's kind of like a mashup of both of the champions. And Green Goblin and Carnage are both like top tier Spider-Man villains. So I'm very curious to see how this character works out. On paper, it looks like he's got a lot of damage output, some very nice utility for certain matchups as well, and some really nice synergies for Venom, Carnage, Symbiote Spider-Man, and also Iron Patriot, and one with all Symbiote champions as well that gives even more crit damage. So yeah, overall, like, at least on paper, he looks very promising, but his synergies look really, really spicy as well. I think he's definitely got the better synergies out of him and Cosmic Ghost Rider, although Cosmic Ghost Rider does have a couple of good ones as well. So let's talk about some of the base stuff that Red Goblin has. So he's got full immunity to both Incinerate and Power Burn. He also reduces the ability accuracy of passive evade abilities for Spider-Verse champions by 100%, so he fully counters the evade of Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, all of the Spider-Man. So yeah, that's really, really nice to have. And also being a symbiote character means you can bring him into variant 5 as well. So going to be very good for that symbiote Spider-Man boss that is very, very annoying there. He also has a persistent charge mechanic called Bloodlust. So after winning a fight, he gains 1 Bloodlust for the remainder of the quest, but if defeating a Spider-Verse champion, he gains +1 additional Bloodlust as well. So you get 2 if you defeat a Spider-Verse champion, and I think that just applies to any character with the Spider-Verse tag, so even villains should allow this character to ramp up quicker, but I don't think he necessarily needs the ramp up to be really good. This is just going to be like a really nice additional bonus on top of it, and make him even crazier once you have the full 5 charges. But one really annoying thing about this champion is you lose 2 Bloodlust when defeated. In all honesty, I hate mechanics like this in the game. I really wish this didn't exist, because it just makes him really annoying to play, and it just punishes kind of newer, lesser skilled players even more. So yeah, I don't really like this line, man. It seems a little bit annoying, but hey, it is what it is. And then next up, we got one of the core abilities that the character has, Frenzy. So while the opponent has less than 15% health remaining, you activate Frenzy. But for every Bloodlust that you have, it increases this threshold by a flat 10%, up to 65% at maximum Bloodlust there. So, while you have Frenzy active, it triggers a True Sense buff, which bypasses the effects of Miss and also Auto Block, and if Frenzy ends, this buff is removed, but you can also get Frenzy off the Special 3 as well, and you get it for 30 seconds off the Special 3. So he seems to have a really good counter to Miss and Auto Block. One matchup especially, Iron Man Infinity War, the most annoying Auto Block phase is that final 15%, so yeah, this should be really, really good for it. So he also gains additional attack rating and bonus attack rating for each stack of Bloodlust that he has as well, but this suffers reduced potency the more stacks you have. But I think it's a total of 6 stacks, 1 from the Frenzy and 5 from the Bloodlust. So I think this should be around 1,600 to 2,000 bonus attack there, which is really, really good once you got him fully ramped up, on top of everything else that this champion has. He also has symbiote buffs, and this is another cool thing when it comes to Red Goblin. So activating a special attack creates a buff based on the last attack launch, very similar to Carnage there. Buffs then last for 15 seconds, but they're going to start off paused. And buffs are unpaused next time one of them is triggered. I don't know if that applies to all buffs or the same kind of buff. I'm not really too sure exactly how this one works there, but if it's just the same kind of buff, this is going to be really, really good. Even if not, it still can be very, very spicy. So light attack gives Energize, which grants 25% additional combat power rate. You've got the medium attack, which is Fury, which gives you a huge amount of additional attack rating, almost 1,300 there, and you've also got the heavy attack as well, which gives you Aptitude, increasing the potency of Fury, Precision, and Armor Up buffs as well. But the really spicy thing is, via his Awakened ability, and he might be a champion that kind of does need to be awakened to get the most out of him, the special attacks are also going to generate an additional symbiote buff with 35% reduced potency. So it's almost like double the effectiveness with like 2 buffs once you have him awakened, but a little bit less than that. So the Fury is going to go up to probably about 2000 attack. The Energize, the combat power rate is like plus 40%. The heavy attack, the aptitude is going to go up even more as well. So yeah, all of this stuff like should come together to make him really, really spicy in terms of the damage output. So yeah, I'm excited to see how all of those scale. We also have Carnage Bombs. So these trigger off the heavy attacks and special too, but off the heavy attacks they have minus 65% reduced duration. So the special 2 is really the way to get the big benefit of these. So if you've got an energized buff on you, each one of those inflicts a power drain on the opponent, draining 10% max power over 15 seconds. So this is actually really good because it's a very small but very consistent power drain over 15 seconds. So it's going to prevent the opponent from getting and using special 3 there. So that was actually quite nice for certain power gain scenarios. Also, each Fury inflicts armor break, reducing armor by 525 for 15 seconds, and all other buffs inflict incinerate, dealing loads of energy damage. It's just under 4,000 here over 15 seconds. But I assume this also has a synergy with any buffs that you might get from a node, for example, like the buffed up node, or what is it that we had in Cavalier this month? They gave you like, 20 stacks of aptitude, man. If that scales with nodes like that, it's going to be crazy. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to see some of those interactions. I think that could be incredibly spicy there. But yeah, it seems like very interesting on the Carnage Bombs. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that you might be able to do. I'm also curious, like, whether or not Heimdall's Fury buff is going to trigger off this, and whether or not you can actually bring in Heimdall and get, like, all the buff synergies to further enhance the Carnage Bombs as well. So yeah, this has definitely got, like, quite a few questions in my head there. I'm curious to see how this is going to work out, but it seems very, very interesting. And then we've got his special attacks. So we've got the special one, which has symbiote attacks. So all 5 hits deal a burst of direct damage equal to 100% damage dealt, but the potency is increased by 100% for each unique debuff on the opponent. So I'm not too sure if this is going to have synergy with certain nodes that like apply a lot of debuffs, or characters like Mr. Fantastic and his pre-fight ability. Maybe there's like some crazy stuff you can do there. But yeah, this one again seems a little bit open-ended, like it could scale with like certain nodes and scenarios. So I'm curious to see how that one works out. And we've also got Shrapnel Blast, which inflicts Incinerate, dealing just over 3,000 energy damage over 20 seconds there. And again, it's going to mutate you and give you a buff based on the last attack you threw before using the special attack there. So yeah, in terms of his playstyle, like it's very much like they've kind of mashed like Carnage and Green Goblin together and added some really nice stuff on top as well. But yeah, seems pretty damn cool. And again, on the special too, we've got the Carnage Bomb, so you inflict the Carnage Bomb debuffs there, and also Afterburner as well. So all 3 hits of this deal a burst of energy damage. So that one is the way to dump your massive Carnage Bombs there. But also via the special 3, we get to activate Frenzy for 30 seconds. So you get the attack bonus off Frenzy. You also get the ability to bypass miss and also auto block effects. So again, that's going to be really, really good for all sorts of matchups like MODOK, for example, anywhere where auto block or miss are just really annoying factors. Invisible Woman, Darkhawk, Guillotine 2099, but also inflicts 7 random Carnage Bomb debuffs with 50% increased duration. So yeah, this should be really, really nice. And again, to remind us of what these debuffs are, we have Armor Break, Power Drain, Incinerate. So if you get lots of armor breaks and incinerates, man, there's going to be really, really nice damage off that special 3. Plus you get into the frenzy, so you get the attack bonus and everything else. But yeah, special 3 seems very, very spicy there. And again, the signature ability, special attacks give you 1 additional symbiote buff with 35% reduced potency. So overall, it seems like he's got a lot of little bits of utility that I think are going to make him really valuable for all sorts of scenarios. Potential with the way that this character works to scale up in really interesting ways with certain nodes. So yeah, just by himself, man, Red Goblin looks really, really good. But then we got the synergies on top of him as well, which look very promising exciting for some characters. So first off, we got one with Green Goblin and Carnage. So Red Goblin gains additional Bloodlust the first time he wins a fight in a quest, so that's good for getting him ramped up a little bit quicker. Also, Green Goblin launching special attacks sets Madness and Cunning stacks to be even, and while the stacks are even, increases his ability accuracy by 25%. I think this is going to be alright for Green Goblin, but Green Goblin is very, very underwhelming. He needs a lot more than this synergy, but this synergy being so mid kind of makes me think that he might be planned for a bit of a update or rework in the near future, because I know they are planning to like buff 2 champions every single month, and Green Goblin is in dire need of a big revamp. So yeah, I really like to see that as well. But the Carnage one is very spicy. So when genetic mutation ends, generate 1 additional permanent buff. And after reaching max permanent buffs, future symbiotic creation buffs last for 10 seconds. This synergy halves the ramp up time and also allows you to get additional bonus damage via buffs on top of it as well. So yeah, this could be really good for Carnage, man. I think this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal synergy, because one of the things when it comes to Carnage is in a lot of quests, by the time you get him like even halfway ramped up, like the fight's just over. So this is just going to give him like that rocket fuel to get into the big crazy damage even faster. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one, and also peppers even more damage on top of that. He also has one with Red Goblin, so you lose 1 less bloodlust when defeated, but also for Venom, reduces the duration of his Clintar buff by 30%. So that buff is the one where he has it and it forms like additional buffs, so basically he gains buffs like 30% faster there, so it allows Venom to ramp up much quicker as well, which again is going to be very good for his overall damage output and throwing those special 2s. So that one seems pretty damn good for Venom. And then we've got one with Spider-Man Symbiote. This one looks really interesting. So Red Goblin, while Frenzy is active, increased buff duration by 30%. So that one I imagine is going to be really good. On top of like the Fury and the power gain and everything, allows you to get like another combo worth of value out of every single buff there. But for Spider-Man Symbiote, Special 2 creates a non-stack Fury buff, granting 5% attack for each armor break on the opponent, lasting 20 seconds. And also, while this is active, your heavy attacks inflict an additional armor break as well. So I think you want to like spam a few heavy attacks, get that special 2 off, get that initial Fury, and then do loads of heavy attacks, get loads of armor breaks, and then get a massive Fury. So this seems really promising for Symbiote Spider-Man. Could be a huge damage boost for the character, because again, a lot more armor break, a lot more Fury for the character. So yeah, Spider-Man Symbiote, this looks really spicy, man. I'm very excited for this one, but I'm curious to see exactly how it's going to work. But those armor breaks are still great on him, man. They last like, what is it, 80 seconds, and I think he's got some synergies last year as well with, I think it's either like Mysterio or Stealth Suit Spider-Man that were pretty good. But yeah, we definitely need to do a revisit video on that one as well. And then we got one with Iron Patriot. So while Frenzy is active, Fury and Energize buffs have 15% increased potency, so that one really nice for Red Goblin. Also, Iron Patriot, Arc Overload grants a Fury buff, increasing attack rating by 300% for 30 seconds. No longer burns out Iron Patriot suit and can be reactivated after a 60-second cooldown. So this one seems really good, because it gives Iron Patriot 300% more attack off that Fury, doesn't burn out the suit, and I think you can trigger the regen again, and also the attack bonus again after 60 seconds. So that seems really good for Iron Patriot. That is an absolutely phenomenal synergy there. Is it going to be enough to make him top meta? Probably not, but it might make him a lot more spicy. So I'm curious to see how this one works, man. Seems like a bit of a fun time there as well. And then also he's got an attack node synergy with all the Spider-Men apart from Symbiote. So yeah, the synergies look fire, man. They look really good. I don't think there's like a bad synergy in the batch, apart from the only one that seems a bit underwhelming is the Green Goblin one, but maybe if Green Goblin does get a buff at some point in the future, that one is going to be a little bit more spicy. So yeah, overall, man, Red Goblin looks banging. He looks like a really good character. The synergies look amazing. So I must say, between Cosmic Ghost Rider and Red Goblin, I'm really excited for both. I think both look like really good characters, but maybe I'm a little bit more excited for Red Goblin just due to the sheer amount of really cool synergies on this character. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on Red Goblin. And if you did enjoy today's breakdown video, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.